Good morning to you YouTubers. So very quick review today. Let's get straight to it. Argos, £30. It's a Guild 350 watt paint sprayer. Really cheap, £30, 2-year warranty. Excludes professional use. Well, I'm not a professional. I'm Mr. DIY average guy totally. Free nozzle settings for your vertical, horizontal and your detail spray. You've got a 800 mil capacity in the bottle. You can use it with most types of paints. Some you might have to thin down with water, some you might have to thin down if they're oil based, say whatever, with a a thinner that you need. I don't know what's a good thinner, spirit, terp, but anyway, never mind that. Let's take a look and see what we've got for £30, and let's give it a test, and I will show you what I'm doing and why I bought it. So very simply, in the box is the paint sprayer, the on and off switch, the nozzle which you can turn to 3 positions, the trigger, a small toggle there depending on how fast you want that flow, the screw and bottle, instruction manual, lead and plug. This is plug, this isn't battery, which I don't mind because I don't want a battery one that runs out. And then you've got this, which is to check the flow of the paint to ensure it's at the right level. Like I was saying before, some paints I assume you might have to thin down. I'm just using an emulsion, so water-based paint, nice and easy. I can just simply water it down if needed with some clean water. So why have I bought this? Basically, a new build house, moved in, lovely walls to begin with, but notice that the walls chip very easily. Gets marks very easy. They don't seem very hard wearing. Spoke to the building company and they said, oh yeah, we've just put down a very base coat, basically a show coat, so it looks good when you're looking around the house, but it's not very durable. Here's a paint kind of color code. My advice is repaint, strengthen up the paint, just give it a little bit of durability. So I've done that throughout most of the rooms, and I've done that with roller. The issue is, it's extremely tiring. I find, yes, the cleanup's not so bad, but the energy to do the rolling is very tiring, and there's a lot of rooms. So I've decided to go down the spray route. Now, the last time I used one of these, I have done a previous video on a very old sprayer, was many years ago. Loads of overspray. That was one of the big things I found. I found the prep work, there was more time, but spraying was super quick and a really nice finish. But yeah, less time painting, more time prepping. But because I've reached the point where I'm so fed up with rolling the walls, I figured, you know what, for £30, I'm just going to give it a go. And to be fair, this looks like a far better unit than I had 5-10 years ago. It's almost like a hairdryer. And when you switch it on, it feels like that hairdryer where it extracts out at the back. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do today, and let's basically play with it. But just to repeat again, I am totally Mr. Novice. Any professionals watching this, I warn you, you'll be sitting there and you'll be shaking your head. But this video is designed for Mr. Novice, Mr. DIY guy or girl. So let's give it a whirl. So I basically made the room look like a crime scene and just covered it over, sealed off the carpet. It didn't take me too long to do that. It's probably took me, to be fair, 15 minutes. So I'm not particularly bothered about the time so far. I'm out of breath now. So what I've done is I've kind of tried to tape off a section on the roof, because I'm assuming I'm going to have that big overspray that I'm concerned about. I might not have that, but I just want to be sure. That's why I'm more out of breath for covering the top. But time wise, again, I would say probably 15-20 minutes covering that, and then obviously trying to cover off and shield off the door, because I aim to go right down here. So obviously I'm going to blast this, blast all this, and just going into the kind of time frame wise, I would say with a roller, I know a professional will say, well, I'll do that in 15 minutes, mate. But I'm not a professional, I'm just the average DIY guy, and it would take me a long time to roller this, to the finish I was happy with. I know there's been a little bit of prep time, but I'm pretty confident I can spray this in a fraction of the time. Hence, I don't mind doing the sort of, I guess, overkill with the sort of covering absolutely everything. So let's just see how it goes. Okay, so I guess it helps if I actually open the paint that I'm going to be using. And what I do know is you've got to stir the paint. I do remember that from watching previous YouTube videos. Paint is stirred. So let me just show you the kind of noise this thing is going to make. Give that a hairdryer effect. Oh, sorry, can you see that? There you go. So that's the noise level. So I've just poured some in there and I'm just seeing the checking the flow. Oh, I think that needs watering down a bit. There doesn't seem to be much of a flow there. It's more of a it's more of a dribble. So I need to work on that, I think. Okay, so I've added a small quantity of water, so I guess it's filled to there, and I would say water is about to there, very small amount. So now I'm going to just play for a second and see if I can just get a nice spray coming out. This is literally the first time I've switched this on, so I have not got a clue what's going to happen here or how this is going to go. Helps if I switch the plug on. Second time lucky. Got a blowing there. I'm just messing with the settings. I think I need to add more water because I don't feel the flow. I mean, I've opened up the valve pretty much to the maximum and I feel it's a very, very, very light scattering. So let me just go ahead and play with that a little bit more and see if I can increase on that. Okay, so I guess where this things can become quite messy when the first time you use getting the flow right, and I think that brings it back to the importance of maybe focus on this a bit more first to make sure that flow is right. And I kind of probably skipped that, hence my trial little cardboard is getting a bit damaged. I think I've got a flow that I can work with by adding maybe slightly more water and really stirring it and shaking it. So I'm going to give that a go and see how we get on. So after some teething problems, I use this to just gently clean out the nozzle and also just flush the line, and they seem to be working a little bit better. I've just done this section here, so it's not coming out as fast as I would have thought. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So as you can see, I mean, maybe I need to work on the settings a little bit, but I would like that flow just slightly faster. Maybe that's just the limitations of a £30 spray gun. I mean, you got to sometimes be realistic of, you know, you get what you pay for, but I'm going to work a little bit more and see how we get along. So it's just 5 minutes on and already I've done this bit and this bit. I actually find that it's drying as I'm moving away from a part, probably because I've added more water, but it's actually starting to dry already, which is quite good. So I'll carry on and see how it goes. So as you can see, the flow rate for me isn't fast enough, and also because I don't know whether because it's very, very warm in here, it's actually starting to dry already. But I don't necessarily mind the drying bit already. It's just remembering where you've already painted. So I've done something to the gun and I've drastically improved the flow rate. I was messing with the nozzle. So here, I guess it doesn't help because I'm kind of putting colour on colour, but I have drastically increased the flow rate, so I'm able to kind of go like this. So I imagine I'll have this wall probably finished within, you know, 10-15 minutes or something. So I've just taken a bit of a break for lunch and I've come back into it. So I've painted this section here and I painted all of this wall here. As you can see, that bit's still drying, and I say the spray time was a lot quicker for me personally than using the roller. I have to say, so far, yeah, problems with the spray velocity and the flow, but other than that, I preferred spraying. I found it just more therapeutic, and also the finish generally. It's pretty hard to tell because I'm putting the same colour on the colour, but I find it a lot smoother than if I was sort of rolling or brushing, especially where, you know, brushing, you get the brush marks. I don't get that at all. I find this to be a very, very, very smooth finish. It'd be very difficult for you to see that, actually. I appreciate that. But so far, I'm quite a big fan of spraying. So afterwards, my next stage, obviously, is just to finish this side. And again, this project for me is just adding durability to the wall, because there was only a base coat on there. So this is like a second coat to add a little bit, firm it up and clean it up a little bit. But so far, I say the quality of the finish, as you can see here, it's difficult to pick up on the camera, but this was brushed or rolled, and I can see visually textures to that. When I go over more to where I've sprayed, it's more of a nicer finish, more of a professional finish. So I'm really happy so far with the gun. It's not flowing as fast as I would like it to flow, but it's £30, and maybe I'm being a little bit unrealistic of what I'm expecting from that price point. But so far, yeah, it's good. So I'll come back to you again once I've done this other section, and then we'll do a final summary. So I've just done this side now and tried to get around the door. See a little bit of overspray there. I've had to wipe off and respray. And I guess that's the problem with, well, with any type of painting, is getting the amount on the wall right. It's holding the machine to the correct distance of the wall so you don't saturate it, but you get a nice smooth finish. And again, it all comes down to that mix between the water and the actual paint, getting it so the flow's good. But generally, from what I've done over here, I'm really pleased with it. So I'm just going to let that dry, and I think that'll do me for today anyway. So we need to see. So I guess the next thing for me is just seeing how quick and easy it is to clean that out. I think it is going to be quite easy because it's just about flushing the machine out with water, then washing the bottle out, and I perceive that to be a lot easier than cleaning rollers, well, in my experience anyway. And then most of the things here can just be pulled up, and obviously the paper put in the bin, and then the polystyrene just dried out for the next time use. But yeah, so far so good. I'm quite impressed with it actually. And also another question people might be asking is how much paint have I used? This is a 5 litre tub, and I would say I've used 25% of it, which I think is quite okay considering I've done 1, 2 and then 3. I've used 25% of it is a 5 litre, because obviously I've mixed it with a bit of water too, so the gun's looking a bit used. A couple of times I've had to clean the nozzle. Again, comes down to that mix, making sure that flows nice. So it's just drying over there now. Everything's put back in, no messing about. This side's all dry, this side's all dry. Nice smooth finish, clean lines, no paint on anything. That should dry within an hour or so, and then yeah, happy days. And I didn't do too bad on the detail. Well, there you have it. And so cleaning the gun was very easy with some white spirit. I put some white spirit into the obviously the container and just ran it through for a few seconds just to keep the lines all clean. Rinsed the bottle through, wiped it down, a lot easier. I actually found cleanup, to be honest, with the gun easier than rollers actually. I don't know what, maybe I've just been doing it wrong with the rollers, but I've just been finding them really difficult to clean and very, very messy. And I have to be honest and say I found this process a lot easier. Cleaning's a lot easier, usage is a lot easier. The final results on the wall was a lot better in terms of quality of the paint finish. Yeah, I'm pretty converted to the sprayer. I think it's a good product. I think it's solid. There's a little bit of strength there. Everything's well put together. It's like a hairdryer, but for £30 you can't complain. I'm very happy with the final results, and yeah, a bit more time in the preparation, but I'm cool with that. So there you have it guys, £30 from Argos, the little Guild 350 watt paint sprayer.